Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Gibson's Technologies, I welcome you all for the webinar on digital incident management. I am Girish, CEO for Gibson's Technologies India, and we are organizing this second webinar in association with TBIA for India region. I'm sure TBIA, we all know, Thane Belapur Industrial Association. Before this, we did conduct one session on 2nd May, and we do plan to have a lot many sessions with TBI going forward as well. So today, along with my team in India, I also have a group chairman and CEO Damien Gibson and CTO and co-founder Rishabh Singh joining us on the call from Melbourne, Australia. We also have TBI President Mr. Bipin Shah and TBI Secretary Mr. Mangesh Brahme on the call. Special thanks to both of them and the office bearers team in the TBI for extending their support. And of course, a big thanks to all of you for joining us for this webinar on Saturday. Some quick instructions before I start. If you have some questions, you can definitely ask us through the chat window. If you go look at your right-hand side, either you can chat or you can go to questions tab and ask some questions there. My team will try to answer the questions during the webinar itself. Or if you are not able to do it now, I can assure you that we'll get back to you on one-on-one either through phone or email within a week. Okay, so moving on. I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce you and invite Mr. Bipin Shah for the inaugural address. I'm sure most of you know Mr. Bipin Shah. He is a chemical engineer by qualification. Currently, he is the managing director of Anu Pharma Limited, a leading bulk drug manufacturing company. And he's also a director and partner in other SK group of companies who are in the pharma industry for the past 85 long years. Mr. Shah himself has around 46 years of experience in the pharma field, his interest mostly being in marketing and management. Currently, he is the president of TBIA and managing committee member of Indian Merchant Chambers, Mumbai. With that brief introduction, I will hand over to Mr. Shah now for inaugural address. Mr. Bipin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Gibson, MD and CEO of Kendra Headquarter, other participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege and pleasure to welcome you all on this important video conference on one-stop digital solution for all the safety requirements. Friends, looking to the increasing number of incidences, it is better to be proactive rather than reactive in case of safety. Our focus should be on reduction of risk and elimination of hazards. Safety awareness should be at all levels of the factory, at the lowest level going up to the highest level. Friends, we expect following from Kiri Align. Number one, capturing the information on safety violation. Number two, the process control parameters should be synchronized with safety gadgets. Number three, a user-friendly software. And number four, MIS through the dashboard. You'll be pleased to know that Thane Belapur Industry Association is conducting safety classes since 30 years, almost immediately after the Bhopal gas tragedy. We were the first in the country to start the safety classes. And in last 3 decades, thousands of safety officers have graduated through the TBIA safety classes. An association with Kendra headquarters will be extremely useful because probably what is being taught in TBIA classes may not be as latest or as up to date, which we can get from Kendra HQ. So I sincerely wish that all the students of safety class will take advantage of this seminar, and Mr. Gibson and his team will provide all the necessary guidance. Once again, thanks a million. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, sir. for your encouraging and wonderful words. And definitely, we look forward to working with TBIA and all the industries that are associated with you and the colleges and safety institutes that you just referred to. Moving on, what I would like to do is just introduce at the higher level the topic for today, which is incident management and digitally how we manage it. We all know, as this is a must requirement for all high risk industries. In fact, I would go ahead and say it is critical for all kinds of companies and operations as it involves the lives of our employees, right? So today's webinar and our Kendra Align product demo would show how you can do incident management from anywhere, anytime, and from any device digitally using our product. We are, of course, a cloud-based software, so you can use it anywhere, anytime. This will definitely help you in your efficient regulatory compliances and remedial actions. So no need of paperwork. It's all in one device, one place, and accessible anywhere. That is the beauty of this product. I'm sure we all are eager to hear our speaker for today. So without further ado, I would like to introduce and invite our group chairman and CEO, Damien Gibson. He is the think tank behind the Kiri Align product. He is also an acclaimed leader and a serial entrepreneur based out of Rosedale near Melbourne, Australia. He operates his businesses in high-risk industries like agriculture, fertilizer manufacturing, mining, transport, and engineering, and of course IT, and hence has first-hand knowledge and experience in this field. Thanks, Damien, once again for making it over the weekend. And with that, over to you for the demo and the product.
Yeah, hi Girish. Hi everyone. Thank you for the introduction. It's good to be here. It's good to see everyone safe. So yeah, really looking forward. Really looking forward to sort of presenting. So yeah, look, I'll share my screen soon. And
Damien, we're not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Girish?
Yeah, now I can hear.
Yeah, hi. Certainly much appreciated to...
No, we lost you again.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Girish? Is it my... I have full strength internet here. I'll keep talking because I think it's working. So, look, I'd certainly like to thank everyone, TBI, for
Damien, maybe you have to log out and log in again.
I can try. So I'll continue on. So yeah, look, I certainly much appreciated getting the opportunity to talk to everyone here today. It's obviously a Saturday, so it's great to see a good turnout on a weekend. But yeah, look, a bit of background before we sort of get into the Kendra product is a bit about, I suppose, how it come about. So I myself and my family own a variety of different businesses in Australia, and majority of them are in high risk industries and sectors. So we do a lot in the agricultural space, and we do a lot on a lot of what we call steep country. So a lot of hazardous terrain that we need to put our machines on in order to sort of produce as much grass or fodder or cereals that can possibly come from the land. So we're constantly putting our staff in risk, but it's risk that actually has to, we have to do it in order to service our clients' requirements. So probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I was pretty active and really trying to promote a really safety culture, safety aware business, so that all my staff could come to work, do their job, and go home to their family, and trying to put themselves in as little risk as they can, but still obviously having to perform their job that needs to be performed. So one way we sort of really got the change management happening. And I think that's probably something that we're hearing a lot of in different businesses and different industries is change management. And it's trying to take the focus of the business not away from production, because obviously we all need to focus on production. That's how businesses make money and pay bills. But it's really just making sure that safety and compliance is at the forefront of their mind. So when the employees are doing particular roles, they're not just thinking about the job that they have to do, but they're also thinking about, how do they do it safely, making sure they're not putting their hands where they should be put, making sure that they're looking out for their other colleagues as well. I think that's something quite important when you're trying to instill change and a really prominent safety culture within your business is to make sure that they're not just focusing on themselves and that they're actually looking out for other employees. So for us, we were operating across 10 different geographical locations, and it was very hard for us to understand exactly what's going on at all these sites without physically being on these sites. And we've also found that you'd go to a location and you'd talk about incidents or talk about potential hazards or risks or, just safety in general. And all of a sudden, all these things would come out of the woodwork, and you just hear, oh yeah, well this happened, and then oh this happened, and oh this bloke nearly got squashed, but luckily he didn't. And I'm just always going back to myself and back to my management team and saying, why are we only finding this out when we ask the question? And a lot of it come back to us, oh well, they're just not reporting it to us. We just don't know about it. They think that they're almost dobbing on their employee, dobbing on their workmate or dobbing on the manager, and they're worried that management will almost punish them because they should be just concentrating on work. So very early on, we realised that if the management team and the business itself isn't open to a receptive, safety conscious business, well then employees are just not going to talk up, and if they're not talking up, well then we will not know what's going on. So we put in a very manual based system, as I'm sure a lot of businesses around the world have, is please report your incidents, please tell us any potential hazards. There's go and tell your manager, and the manager will fill in a form, and and the form will eventually get to the safety officer, and that safety officer will eventually put that in front of the appropriate person, to fulfill and to rectify. But we just found that with this very manual process, that it was not timely enough. So the potential hazard might have appeared, and management still wouldn't know about it for days, and that hazard was sitting there for days and days and days. And if it goes unchecked for more, for any longer than the required time, the chance of injury or the chance of accident or chance of death is obviously still there. So for us, it was really about trying to capture potential incidents or potential hazards in the workplace and getting them documented quickly so that they can be sent to the appropriate people and management team quickly, so they can get rectified quickly and the hazard put away. So that was one big thing, was trying to just speed up that entire process, because it was very slow and clunky when you're just relying on people and paper. So that was a big thing. And it was really just trying to instill the culture into all our employees that you have to speak up. You can't just go about your day and not try to tell us what can be fixed, because in the end, it may not be your life at risk. It might end up being your colleague's life at risk. So we very much instilled this vocal culture around, not just telling management, but also speaking to other employees. So if you set, in our business group of businesses, if an employee is doing an unsafe task or a task could be done in a safer manner, it's not just up to management to bring it to their attention. A lot of our employees talk to each other and instill this safety first culture. So it's very much a collective culture, but I'm still a big believer in that it has to be driven from the management team, because they're the ones that are sort of designing that culture and really trying to manage it and run it within the business. So So yeah, so today I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview about our Kiri Align product that we built pretty much for all businesses who need to manage and understand safety at a digital level. It does a lot more than just incident management and incident recording. It does a lot around digital forms, you know, and the creation of digital forms. My vision with Kiri Align was originally to build a system that can replace a clipboard, where instead of printing off a piece of paper and walking around the warehouse or working around the factory with a clipboard, ticking boxes, you could just simply do it on a mobile device. So it's very, very flexible in what it can achieve. But the concept behind it is that any safety and compliance issue that a company may have should be done in one location, so that if you ever need to know what's happening from a safety point of view in your business, you just go to one platform, one system, which is cloud-based, and you can just see all that data and all that information there. So it's designed very much to be looking forward. So we try not to design in a way where it's reactive. It's trying to be proactive in what should happen, so that nothing gets missed. You can set your timelines of when tasks or audits or checks need to be done. They can get done by the appropriate people and then reported back to the business. So that's sort of what we want to try to go through today is a bit about this, and then also I'll really try to focus the conversation and discussion around reporting of an incident and how Kiri Align has taken incident management to a digital front and really show you what can be done, I suppose. So I'll just share my screen now, and we should be able to see that soon. So bear with me. Great. So this is Kiri Align. I'm not sure how many people have seen Kiri Align before, whether they've joined previous webinars, but I'll just try to give you a very, very quick summary overview of sort of what it does and a bit of the framework. And then we'll really focus on incident management and reporting. And I think Swapnil, there's a lot of other webinars, historic webinars around the guts of sort of how the system works and runs. And if you think you want some more information, just reach out to us, and Swapnil's more than happy to really give you a tailored demonstration of what it does. So this is it. This is our dashboard. So for us, starting here, it gives us an overview of all the things that need to be done. It is a multi-organisational system. So up in the top corner here, I can click on that there, and I can actually run multiple businesses from the one platform. So at the moment, we're just working on my demo system to give you an idea. So the dashboard, you can look at it from an organisational level information, or you can look at it from a personal level. So if I look at my particular dashboard, I can look at my tasks that need to be completed. I can look at the activity feed that I've undertaken, and I can also look at some of the incidents that have also been added and some data on that. And if you want to look at a more organisational level, you can sort of see what the whole organisation looks like. So, but the goal of the system is to really just record all the information that you need to record in the business from a safety point of view. And the intention is to really evolve this safety score so that it's actually adding some real value to know how you're tracking at a business level from a safety standard, and how each employee is also tracking from a safety standard. So the concept is very much around the storage and undertaking of different sorts of checklists. So whether you're inducting employees into a particular plant or a particular asset or a piece of equipment, any operating procedures about how to do any of that. We did a webinar last month on JSA, so the concept of really understanding what a job safety analysis is and the value it can have. Any sort of pre-start checks that you may do, any sort of maintenance and service checks, any company policies can all be saved here as well. Any sort of training documents or any training logs, or the issue of training. Has a full auditing function, so you can create all your auditing documents, use them to then undertake and view all that. So there's also a lot around competencies and the recording of competencies, so you can have that on track. And there's a whole nother webinar on non-compliance as well, around reporting and non-compliance, and having that employee own up to it and sign it. So that's there as well. Obviously, there's a large functionality on incident management, which we'll get in today, and there's also big document storage functional as well. So it's very usable. The concept is that you can pick up create a particular checklist. So this is my demo one that we use each time. You can assign it to a particular category. You can set your reoccurrence, and your reoccurrence is based on how often you want this particular person or group of people to fill in this particular checklist. And then the questions. So the idea is that any manual form or any manual document that you're completing, I believe you should be able to digitalize them and put them in here as what we call as a checklist. And what you're really doing is you're defining how you want the employee or the undertaker to answer this. So you can simply add a question, and if it was a yes/no question, for example, do you feel safe completing this task? The employee answers with a yes/no answer. If you want a text-based answer, a date-based answer, it's very, very user-friendly. So we can go through that in a bit more detail, and I can show you that. You also have the idea of acknowledgement. So, how do you want the person to actually acknowledge? Do you want them to sign their name, or do you want them to tick a box? So all that sort of there as well. Who do you want to actually undertake the checklist? So you can assign it to either a role, a group of people, a person, individual person. And you can also have the function of an assessor now, where whenever someone has undertaken a particular checklist, that assessor is then sent the same checklist and the results for them to then sign off and understand that. So we can have a look at that and really get to go into it. So if we click the view button on this one here, this is I suppose the checklist that gets created, my demo one. So this is the ability to answer with a yes/no sort of a question, the answer with a text, the answer with a date. You can use it to upload information. You can use it to create. You can embed videos as well, and you can also have multiple choice. So once you create a checklist and it's been assigned to you, it then appears in your to be undertaken checklist area. So this checklist demo questions is what we had here. It's based on an induction, whatever the description you called it, and on the reoccurrence weekly. So if I just click undertake as a user here, I just simply answer the questions. So do I feel safe completing this task? I just answer quite easily. This one's is a text-based, so you answer with obviously a text response. You can have a date-based question where the user has to respond with a date. You can have a number-based question where the user has to respond with a number. You have a notes as well. So if you want to put in larger notes, you can do that there. This is an employee question type where the question was, who has explained this process to you? You can just select your employees from a list and document that. This is an asset or an equipment-based question. So what equipment or asset does this relate to? That picks up all your equipment that's been managed within the system. You have the ability to provide photo evidence as well. So you just come in here, drag and drop if you want, and it can bring in an image. You can embed a video. So a lot of businesses are already using this platform of a training module with videos, multiple choice as well, and also now the ability to add a time-based answer. So And then it's just simply a signature, and then the document's being completed. So you can build a very range of documents here. All your documents, once they've been created and undertaken, always appear in your activity feed. You can always go back to from a reporting point of view and see a lot of that information as well, which is also very handy. So I can see this got done today. I just did it obviously at 4:01:22. I can view it at a PDF level, and I can see how it all looks. But yeah, so you never lose any of your data. It's always there. You can see how someone answered it, and it's always there. So that's a concept around the basic flow, I suppose, of Kendra, being the ability to create checklists, assign them to an employee or group of employees that they can undertake. Can be done on a desktop. There's an app, they can undertake it all on the app, and it allows them to never have to really produce a piece of paper and try to document it, and then having all the staff behind the scenes to try to keep a track of it all. So I think that gives you an overview. It's very quick, so we can certainly come back to here if we need to, but I think I really wanted today is to really capture how we manage the reporting of incidents or potential hazards, I suppose, within the business, and then the whole flow-on effect here. So for us, or certainly in Australia, there's a very common theme around, there's, in my opinion, almost 3 levels of incident management, one being hazards, so the reporting of a hazard, the second being the reporting of a near miss, and then the third is the reporting of an incident. So for us, a hazard is based on a potential incident. So it's almost like trying to alert management that this isn't right, and if it doesn't get fixed, then it may result in a problem. And near miss is sort of, it's almost like a free life in a video game, where it's like an incident's happened, but no one's been injured and there's been no property damage, and we're very lucky. But if that thing would have been a little bit to the left, or 10 minutes earlier or 10 minutes later, that could have resulted in serious harm. So for us, we want employees to record hazards and record near misses, because that's the only way we can learn about potential incidents that may occur in the future. There's not much point being told that, oh, the elevator broke and everyone in the elevator died, and then someone saying, oh, a month ago, oh yeah, I thought that elevator needed fixing, but I didn't say anything. Well, you got to say something, otherwise nothing's going to get fixed. So for us, we built it's all very basic. We wanted a really simple software solution, and you just click add new, and this is where someone can report it. So I have got a couple pre-made here just to give you an idea, to save a bit of time. So we're just going to pick this one up. So the idea is, if you're reporting a hazard, you can select a hazard or a near miss. And in this instance, it was, the employee said that there's no rail on the drum storage bay. So the idea is you can put in the title, the date, who logged it, the hazard type, and the idea of the description. So in this instance, the employees noticed that there was no rail on the drum storage on the second floor, and that needs to be fixed, otherwise the drum could fall off and hurt someone. So they've suggested in this instance to fit a new guardrail. So the idea is just to document this, and then they can save it. Management can then pick it up, understand it, comes in the news feed instantly, comes in a lot of notifications and reminders instantly that someone's lodged this fault or lodged this potential hazard, and it needs to be addressed. So that's sitting there. The other concept you have is what we have is called a near miss. So a near miss, in our opinion, certainly my opinion, is it's a result. So it's not just a hazard, it's something that has happened. But luckily, no one was hurt and nothing was damaged, but the potential was still there. So the title, the drum fell off the storage bay in this instance here. So what I'm trying to convey here is an employee has said that, oh, there's no rail and that a drum could fall off. 3 days later, the drum did fall off, and luckily no one was around, and it hit the ground and didn't land on someone. But the idea was that if that person was 1 metre to the left, well, then it could have landed on them and had catastrophic consequences. So we want to understand what's happening. We want them to tell us, you know, how they think we could fix it. Fit a rail and storage bay. Is the hazard still remaining? You know, did they fix it now? Or is it still there? Because if it's still there, we need to go and deal with it. And any additional notes, you know, and this is quite important for us to say, we did report it to management and they did nothing about it. You know, luckily no one's injured, but this could have really been a serious incident. So that's what we try to do is segregate hazards and near misses away from incidents so that you know that an incident needs to be investigated and follow up. And it really just allows you to sort of split out the level of hazard, I suppose, in this instance, and just really understand the difference between the two. So a hazard and a near miss, it's quite very simple, can be done on an app as well, on a mobile device, and that's sort of where you can do here. Then we go into incident management. So incident management for us is around about getting the data about and on all the information about an incident that has happened, and then allowing management to then investigate it and come up with results. So I've added a few in here again just to save some time. So I'm just going to pick up this one here, and we can share the form itself. So once again, you can completely do this on your phone, on a tablet, or anywhere you want. So the title of this one was a chemical spill in the factory. You need to select the primary employee involved. And a lot of this stuff is pre-filled information, so that reporting can then be very, very easy and very detailed. So, you know, at the end of the year, if you have reported, you know, 1,000 incidents across your company, you need to know what they are. You need to know who's involved, what sort of incident type they were, what was the severity, what were the details around it all. So then you can really start to get some insights, and you can then use that insights to really leverage and change and focus on particular aspects of your business. So for us, it's you put the title, who the primary employee that was involved in the incident, because the idea of an incident is something's happened, either, you know, a personal injury, a property injury, it's property damage, an environmental concern, or something like this. So who you reported it to. So it was reported to the on-site manager at the time, and the incident type. Now, these drop downs are all configurable within the system, so they're not pre in there. You can go and call whatever incident types you want. So I know there's a lot of people in the manufacturing space on the call, on the webinar today. So you could design these in production issues. You can design them as, you know, outside issues. For us and for this system, I just put in a personal injury, a property damage, a customer complaint, and even an environmental issue. Because what we're trying to do is, this may have happened off-site, so it could have been no one was around, but we want our employees to put it in, put the data in, so that the safety manager, safety officer can understand exactly what happened in the series of events, and then try to rectify and find out what's going on. So trying to just capture as much information at a time. So the incident types, environmental issue, the severity. So you can once again, these are all configurable within the system. You can set them yourself. So I've just put in low, medium, high, and highest. And you can also put a description that you want to then try to alert the staff as to why it's a high. So for us in the high, it might be for any off-site first aid treatment. That's designed. That's what we call a high severity incident. Whereas a low severity incident might just be for a minor injury. You know, they cut their finger and they put a Band-Aid on. So, or property damage up to $5,000 or $500. So these are all 100% configurable. The idea is a description, so that, you know, tell us what's happening. There's a chemical spill on the factory floor. The entire floor was evacuated while we clean up was done due to the odorous fumes being released. So that's just a brief description that may have happened. The location type, once again, completely configurable from the user's end. I've just put in here on road, customer site, the business site, and in the factory. So then when I'm looking at my incident for the last 12 months, if I had 1,000 incidents, I want to know how many are in the factory, how many are on my customer's property, how many are on my property, so I can really understand where is all this happening? So this is what we want to deal with here. The actual location, so you can define that, the date and the time of the incident, because we're trying to keep a track of everything. Any immediate response that was issued, so evacuated all employees and organised a clean-up. Were there any other employees involved? So this is, yes, there was, I might have been involved and Nick might have been involved. So you can keep a track of all that sort of stuff. Was there any equipment involved? So you can just, once again, you can say, yeah, there was some equipment involved as well. Was there any witnesses? So you can come in here and say, yes, there was a witness. It might have been Jack, no idea of his phone number, and some basic notes sitting in here as well. And once again, you can record multiple witnesses because you're just trying to capture as much information at the time of the event, because if you report on this a week later, you're going to forget it all and they're not going to have the answers to really know what's going on. So these are some of the basic questions. Was there an injury? Yes or no? If there is an injury, put the description in. Was there any first aid treatment given? Yes or no? If there is, yes, put the description so we understand what's happened. Was there any property damage? Yes or no? Once again, recorded if there is. And did any authority attendance at the scene? So if you select yes, obviously if you select no, it disappears. But if you select yes, did the police attend? Did the fire department attend? Did workplace authority, safe work attend? Did the ambulance, any environmental agencies attend? So they're very specific stuff. The user can also then upload any photos. So you can come in here and upload a photo. That was one I put in earlier. So you can upload multiple photos. You can upload PDF documents. If you're undertaking this if you're filling this form in on your phone, obviously you can just use your camera on your phone and upload all that as well. So just trying to capture as much information at the time of the event as you can, and then you just save. So this really is giving you a great understanding of what needs to be reported to at an incident level, because you're not doing this. Certainly, our vision with Kiri Align in the incident management framework is it's not just about reporting incidents for the sake of to tick a box for a government for a government form. We just want to know as a business what's happening so that we can provide a safe workplace environment. So it's not really doing this from a legal perspective. It's just saying this is what we want to know as a business so that we can provide the safest possible situation for our employees. So once an incident's been added, it comes here under the ready for review status. And once again, you might have 5,000 employees and they're all can add incidents. So the incident the safety manager needs to know what's going on. So as they come in from anywhere, they just all appear in this ready to review status. The next status is under review. So this is where you might have picked up a particular incident like this one, the chemical spill in the factory, and you want to start investigating it. So if you click investigate, it then takes you into the investigation function. And at any point in time, you can just click save. And it shows under the review status here. So what we've done is by starting the investigation and looking into the incident, I now have 0, I've got 1 left here, rolled car in the paddock, sitting ready for review. And I've got currently 5 incidents that are under review. And I have three incidents that have been completed. So if we pick up this chemical spill in the factory that was reported, once again, I can come in here and view the actual incident. This is what the incident looks like. I will click PDF for you guys, and I'll just have to change my view so you can see it, because you won't be able to. Just hold on here a second. This is a bit unprofessional on my end. Share. So you can hopefully see this is sort of what a completed document looks like. So this was the document that we added just before the chemical spill in factory, and this is now, I suppose, the printable version if you really want to get something printed and send it or have it documented. So all the employees' details, the actual incident details, the current status it's in right now, any the type, the severity, where it'll happen, the time, the date, all the information that we want our employees to fill in so that we can investigate this and understand exactly what happened is all here. Who was involved? Were there any witnesses? Was there any injury? So all those questions are all answered. And then it starts to really give me the list of everything that's happened, who was involved, what equipment was involved, the witnesses' details that we typed in, the authority, attendance, and also the evidence that was uploaded. So all of that information sitting there, which is fantastic. And myself as a safety officer in this particular instance, this incident might have happened 500 kilometres away from where I am, but I can now understand what's going on at that site and then start to really look into it and move it on. So, and then you can look at the investigation process. So if we look at under review, we can pick up this one and investigate. And the idea here is name person investigating incident. So that could be myself, the date of the investigation, which is today, the summary in the investigation might just be went to site and looked at the spill, something like that. Just a minor issue. Forklift hit a wall. I don't know. We'll just call that forklift hit a wall. Any actions, so it might be move the wall, maybe something like that, so it doesn't happen again. You might want to put in different things around when we're carting a chemical container. We want to strap it down so it can't fall off and things like that. So you can really start to really build on what you want to do and what we need to do to fix it. And also really just looking at, you can expand on this as much as you want. If you want to close the investigation off, so you might close it today. It might have just been a really simple investigation. It might have been at 2:10 p.m. We close that off. You can answer these questions again. Was there any property damage? So if there was property damage, you can now put in a cost of the property damage and any description. It might be wall damage or something like that. You also then have any lost time. So the reporting of lost time is a very big concept in Australia, is being able to report any lost time. So, if there's any personal injury, you can report on any lost time there. And then has the hazard or incident been these questions. So for us, once again, if you have 1,000 incidents reported for the year, which means there's 1,000 investigations, I can look at this and run a report and see how many of my incidents resulted in property damage. What was the total value of the, through this? How much lost time was done? How many incidents have we got where, we did eliminate the risk of it, or we had to substitute it, or we had to put in engineering controls or administrative controls to fix it? Was there any training required after the event? I can once again upload any evidence, so I can just drag across that if I want. And so if I've gone and created a particular form or something, or put a very large document, I can just attach that Word document here and eventually sign it off. So then we might say no to that one. And then that investigation's moved from under review to completed. So it's a chemical spill in the factory. It's been dealt with. If you ever want to go back to the information, you can look at the incident data. You can look at all the investigation data, and it's never lost. And that's something I think we've seen a lot in is the fact that if you're relying on paper and you're relying on people with paper, the time between all the transactions between creating incident, investigating incident, fixing it, any issues, it takes so long. And within that time frame, a lot of information can be lost and data integrity can be lost. And by doing it digitally, we allow it just to happen so much quicker and so much cleaner, and it's there forever. So for us, when we're in our peak before we started using Kiri Align and built the product, we had just paper everywhere to the point where, what happened last time we had a chemical spill in the factory? Well, you can't even find it, So the idea is that it's all in one spot. It's very clean, very easy to use, and it's there. It appears in all your incidents. You've got it appearing in all your activity feed, and we find that it's it's just a very good platform to use it on. So I think that was what I wanted to try to get to today, was just to give you a really, really brief overview. Obviously, with Swapnil and TBI, more than happy to spend a lot more detail. Happy to get any feedback on it as well about how we can improve it, some of the things that are maybe missing. But for us, we just really wanted to give you a good understanding of what it is, what it can do, and hopefully people and businesses like it, enjoy it, and they can use it and make their operations safer. So Girish, I might hand that over to yourself.
Yep, Damien.
Yeah, sure. Damien, while you were talking, thank you for the presentation. And while you were talking, Damien, there were a couple of questions. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to read them out. We have provided some responses, but it would be good to hear from you on them as well. So the first one that came about was, how does Kiri Align proactively capture unsafe situations, which can be shared for inputs for corrective actions and implementation of horizontal deployment across organizations. So I believe what you demonstrated there with hazards would be the right area for people to go to.
Sorry, Rish, I can hardly hear you. Something's happening at your end there.
Oh, okay. Give me a few seconds here.
That's a bit better.
Is that any better at all?
Yep, that's much clearer.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so the first question we got, Damien, was about how does Kiri Align do or perform proactive capture of unsafe situations, which again can be shared for inputs horizontally across or deployed across the organization. So I believe what you demonstrated there with hazards and near misses would be that area. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, I think too, like at the moment, we just use hazards to report it. So it's a real simple thing. If you want to implement a hazard action, I suppose, system or company, procedure, well, you can still use the incident management framework where you create the incident, investigate the incident, but you just create a new incident type called hazard. So where I've got property damage, environmental issues, customer complaint, you could just add hazard there or hazards or something along that line there, and you can ask your employees to use that particular way to report it, and then you can pick it up and follow it through. So
sure. No, thanks for that. There was another question around does Kiri Align have the provision of capturing real-time and continuous data on process parameters like runaway reactions? So we responded with Align's capability to be easily customized and can be integrated with any existing SCADA systems and capture any real-time events to notify to supervisors. But that's obviously a very specific question based on what a specific business wants and how the SCADA systems are and industrial control and monitoring systems are. So anything else you had to add there, Damien, apart from?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was a question of how can we add operating procedures around management of change and those kind of critical activities that have to happen. So we've again pointed. I think that would have been captured in the earlier part of your presentation, Damien, with the checklist and where we build operating procedures and everything there.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, I think there were a couple of questions around integration. So I think the standard answer there for everyone is, look, the Align it's built on the latest and cutting edge technology. So I think what you will find is, while it can be customized to any requirement, well, you will find that once you start using Align, a lot of your requirements would be met by out of the box, the solution itself, right? So what we would really invite here, and I'm sure Girish, you would talk about that a little ahead, what we'll really invite you to do is to really sign up with the system and start building your checklist in there, and you will understand how flexible it is. and you don't have to do a lot of customization. You can configure it all yourself. It doesn't really require a lot of technology input, but you're welcome to talk to our staff and we can take you through that. But if you did want the software to be customized for the right size of business, that is definitely possible, right? And I think the last question, Damien, coming there was, apart from data management, does it guide an eventuality of any help? So I'm guessing that's got to do with the help and more onboarding support, Damien, that we're providing, of course, as the different parts of the system with the help section and all that.
Yes, yeah. I think there's some previous webinars as well that gives you a good idea of what it provides straight out of the box.
Yeah. Now, I think that was all that we had in terms of questions, Damien. So thanks again. And Girish, back to you to proceed the webinar further. Can you hear us there, Girish?
Sorry, I was on mute. So thanks, Damien and Rish. Damien, this was really a detailed walkthrough. So good. That was good. For the guest on the call, I have just a small request. If you can go to tab 3, which says polls, we would like to get some feedback from you about today's webinar. What you would like to see in the future webinars? Was it helpful? It should not take more than 2-3 minutes for you to complete the polls. So request you while you're on the call, please complete it. And as the next steps, the way Rish was saying, it would be good if you can have created your account immediately in next few days or maybe even after this call and start onboarding your staff on it, create their logins, start using the system. If I would say start your digital safety and compliance journey along with this. That would be really great thing to do. And if you need any help, my marketing manager Swapnil can help you with the initial setup. And if you need a company specific demo, we can do that as well. So that's all I had for today to say. So again, if there are no more questions, then thank you. Have a nice day and great weekend ahead. With that, I would like to conclude the webinar for today. Thanks a lot.